Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar where Westernacher will talk about SAP Asset Management. My name is Bernd Bakken, heading the logistics team in Adfarer. But today we're actually going to hear Prasad talking from India and David from California. So we're all over the world today. Prasad, please go ahead.
Yep, thank you.
So good morning to everybody. Looks like everybody's struggling in here as we go. As you said, my name is David Murch. I'm with Westernacher. Also Prasad Kulthe, who's also with Westernacher. And thank you very much for this opportunity to be able to show you what we've got built in our systems and show you what we've learning about this. Real quick, the agenda that we're going to do is as you can see that we'll go through some overview on the Asset Manager and what it basically is for those of you who may or may not be aware of it. And do a little bit of product insight on what's inside it, and also as far as the latest innovations. So a couple of things came out with 2110 that we were pretty excited about. The biggest one is the inspection checklist. For those of you who've been in the system long enough, you know that this is something that everybody's been wanting at one time or another. Here's our pictures. Now you can see us on cam. You can see us on our pictures. Once again, thank you for having us today. Okay, so welcome. This is the time and the place. We know we're here. Yes, it is being recorded. I think that's something you guys do as a standard. Typically, we ask everybody if they could mute just to kind of cut down on the background noise. We're going to go through our presentation, which includes demonstration, and then there'll be some Q&A at the end. And so we encourage you, ask it all that you want.
Could it's banter. I could also add that.
So first, a little bit about Westernacher.
Sure. Sorry, David. I should have mentioned it. You can also actually use the chat while the presentation is going on so we can collect the answers, and we will follow that up. Okay, please go ahead again, David.
Okay, great, thank you. So just one slide about Westernacher. We don't want to inundate you with this. We are a global partner in digitization and business transformations. We have very deep expertise in digital supply chain. As you can see, we're a presence in 19 countries. We have 26 offices scattered about the world. We very much are a global country, as you can see. Prasad and I work on a day-to-day basis. He and I work together on opposite sides of the world. In addition to some of the areas that you see here, just to highlight that we cover, really we have a lot of deep experience in the digital logistics. The core logistics such as the warehouse management, yard logistics, transportation management, and today we're really covering asset management as part of our Industry 4.0 practice. So let's talk about Asset Manager a little bit. So we've long been able to do basic execution of maintenance, whether it be the R4 systems or R3, R4, the S4 system, excuse me, R3, ECC, R4, S4. It's late, folks. What we've got, as part of the Intelligent Asset Management portfolio is the Asset Manager. Asset Manager providing a mobile platform for us to be able to deploy. The big benefits there are fairly obvious to those of us who've been in the industry. Is we can uncouple the technicians from the laptops and from their desktops, and actually then give them the information on a mobile basis. That includes the instruction sets, that includes safety warnings, that includes any of the information that we need to communicate to them. That also includes getting the real-time accurate type reporting from them on failure data, and to be able to get for safety information. Let's go ahead and go forward, and we'll Prasad.
Yep, thank you so much. Yep, thank you so much, David. And my name is Prasad. So good morning, all. So hereafter, I will take you through the deep dive of Asset Manager solution itself. So as David explained, Asset Manager is one of the cloud capability provided by SAP within Intelligence Asset Management portfolio. So it consists of number of cloud capabilities, and this asset manager is very specific to the maintenance execution team, where with the help of your mobile, online, and offline capability, your execution team can manage their number of processes from the site. So it's basically come with the core as well as extension feature. So core as in the features which are very common to any industry, asset owning industry on day-to-day basis, which start with the downloading right information for your site workers. So your site workers such as your maintenance technician or maintenance supervisor, or it can be inventory clerk now, they can log into the mobile device using single sign-on, or it can be a tablet as well. And depending on the security role assigned to them, they can download the most relevant information and personalized information on their device. So that information could be such as work order or notification assigned to them, or it can be asset or your materials for a specific plant. So once they have that relevant information on their device, this mobile capability basically help them to track their day-to-day progress of the work and overall accountability of the work. Further, once with this information, they can manage the end-to-end life cycle of their notification and work orders by using this mobile application, where they can access number of your instructions, safety procedures, or details of your work order, what work basically they want to carry it out, right? And this is very important typically because in without asset manager, it's many times it's very difficult to arrange this all information. A lot of dependency on your paperwork and managing the printouts and some information in bit and pieces. But with the help of this mobile solution, your technician can get all that information on their fingertip. Once they completed their execution part, which can be uh, performing their maintenance work or time confirmation or arranging the materials, they can report the outcome of the your maintenance execution. The outcome could be such as reporting your root cause analysis from the site, or it could be a follow-up action or follow-up work order or notifications, or many times it's just simply capturing a photo by using your camera and before and after work execution, right? And this is again very important because in older days, technician need to capture all this information somewhere in locally, and then when they are having access of system, they need to re-enter those entry into the system, right? But with the help of your mobile device, they can input all that information right from the site. Further, point number 4, where basically asset manager come with the supervisor module, which help to review this all work updates with the help of supervisor digital signature approval process, where they can review and approve it digitally within the system. And upon completion of this work in mobile device, they can sync back that all information to your central EAM system, which can be your ECC or S4 HANA system. Okay. Now this is again very important because we are getting more real-time and accurate information by using this mobile device, because people are capturing all real-time information from the site, and this help us to generate your single source of data truth more real time. And since we are living in a world of data science, this is very important if you, because if your data source is accurate and more real time, your decisions will be more accurate. So we can consider like asset manager could be a step toward generating that right data for you. Now in this end-to-end life cycle, your step number 1 and 4, where basically we require the internet connectivity to download the right information and sync back to your central system. But all the other activities such as your execution or reporting or review, all that can be happen from the site, whether your site supports network connectivity or not. Taking to the extension component of the asset manager. So SAP Asset Manager also support the extension which are very specific to the processes or industry which you're coming from. So starting with the Asset Central. So Asset Central is a central master data layer for intelligence asset management suite. So this is, as I said before, it's a cloud solution where you can access the IoT platform provided by the predictive asset insight component of the IAM, or it can be ASPM, Asset Strategy Performance Management module, where we define the reliability checklist or reliability assessment. Okay, so all this assessment and this predictive analytics we can access on your mobile device using SAP Asset Manager. So IAM is something where we are talking a strategical part, and SAP Asset Manager where we are talking about the execution part. Further, for the organization who are managing their fleets or their crews very specifically, then crew management is a dedicated module where they can manage the related process by defining their vehicles or crews into the system. Field operation worker is another extension module available. So some of the, especially into utilities industry, where your assets are segregated over the distance, and your technician need to travel over the distance, right? So a lot of time is might be get consumed in travel time. So with the help of map feature available on SAP Asset Manager, your technician can find the optimized way of travel route and plan their day more effectively. On the bottom side, customer service is another module available very specifically designed for service industry customer, and it support the related all the service related process. Similarly, meter management is another module available very specifically for the meter related process managed by the power or gas industries. And lastly, quality management is a module where we can define the number of inspections or calibration for the goods.
Prasad, it's
Yep.
Bernd again. Since there is a question related to capabilities, functionalities, so I think it makes sense to take it here. So I'll read
Yep,
it.
sure.
Do you have tools for root cause handling included in the SAP Asset Management solution?
Okay, so basically, as I said, SAP Asset Manager come as a front-end UI for your backend. Okay, so it's the process-wise, it's just another extension to the EAM system. So root cause analysis, such as your object part or your catalogs, whatever we mention onto the notification, same information we could input into the SAP Asset Manager, and once we sync it, it will be get posted on your notification. Okay, so that is one part from asset manager perspective. But if you are talking about the more reliability perspective, then that is a something different topic where we are going into the asset strategy performance module, where we can define a number of risk matrices and a number of reliability assessments, which is altogether different topic, which is not in today's agenda. Okay, thank you so much. So that was a quick overview of SAP Asset Manager. Now let's take a look of what are the new innovations SAP Asset Manager supports. So we all know SAP Asset Manager last release happened in last October 2021 with 2110 release. So this is one of the most important or release from the SAP side because they have introduced a new business process such as inspection checklist process. So this is what we are going to see into the system as well today. This is a similar like your preventive or corrective maintenance. The new business process SAP has introduced with the order type PMO7, where now system is capable to generate your inspection at the work order operation level. Okay, so once these inspections are generated, those are subject to result records and take a appropriate usage decision about your inspection, and then appropriate any defects or any measurement readings to be taken. So that is what this process is all about. The next one is inventory management support. So this is another feature most of the customers are awaiting for this one, because this is where SAP has done fundamental change in their architecture overview of the SAP Asset Manager, and now your solution support the personnel level assignment. So depending on your site worker, whether it's a technician or your inventory, you can assign appropriate persona and they can visualize their screen layout. So for example, for inventory person, now he can able to manage the materials more effectively from the site, such as arranging the good receipt against your purchase order or inbound delivery, or it could be a goods issue against your reservation or projects or work order, or it could be like a simple stock transfer within plant or outside plant. So all that can happen from the site without your internet connectivity. Now phase model is something again a new, something probably interesting where SAP is thinking about. So SAP Asset S4 HANA 2021 on-premise version, SAP has introduced this phase model concept. So this is available on cloud version of S4 HANA, but in 2021 release, SAP has provided this feature very specifically for the on-premise customer. So idea here is that your typical work in your ECC or S4 HANA till date was taking a 4 milestone, right? You create, release, or takeover and complete, right? So 4 milestone was majorly considered. And on top of that, every customer is using somewhere little or more condition based your user status to manage your screening phase or your approval procedures, or it could be your planning or preparation or execution phase, right? So a lot of dependency onto the user status kind of or customizations for every customer. But the fact is that every customer needs this kind of a phase model or phase concept while managing their end-to-end maintenance activity. So SAP has now come up with this phase model concept, the 9 phases, which basically taking the precedence over your system status and user status. So your status are still going to be there, but this phase are going to take precedence over on the statuses, and it will give you most standardized process to manage end-to-end maintenance activity on S/4HANA 2021. So SAP Asset Manager 2110 release also support this new feature, and there are some miscellaneous improvement also there, such as sharing your device with your colleagues and login. Multiple user can log in on the same device, and they can share and hand over the information to each other. It also support the operation level attachments and some persona level assignment. Any question
Prasad,
before I go? Yep.
back up one slide.
Yep.
Just a couple of comments from a when I look at this more from the practical perspective of this. First of all, the inspection checklists are something we have long needed. A good embedded version of. I mean, there's third-party products out there. Everybody's had some code changes at some point. Everybody's tried this in order to bring this in. So having something that's already embedded, to me, it's kind of like, okay, finally we've got something, on the mobile side of this. It was interesting that they brought in a whole nother order type, standard order type to do that though. But at least that this finally been recognized in there. The inventory management support, once again, same thing. We've had, other mobile solutions that were dedicated for the supply chain, but that meant basically 2 implementations, one for the maintenance and one for the supply chain. And sometimes those were the same people, sometimes they weren't. So having it embedded now is looks like it's going to be a really good thing. As far as the phase model, the more I look at it, I guess I need to look at it more. I think I like it. I think I agree. I know, like Prasad said, we've put, user statuses to do this for many, many, many years. So bringing in a standard phase model, but I think the jury's still out. We need to actually play a little more with this. Is it a hard 9 phases and how well it works? And with it, a couple new, types there. So, they brought in with 2110 a lot of new and good things that we've been asking for and needing, at least in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Thanks, David. So before going on to the system demo, is there any question?
None in the chat, but since we have a little pause now, people can either put that or just ask it. I think it's okay to continue, Prasad.
Yep, sure. Thank you. So for today's demonstration perspective, we are going to see this inspection checklist process in a detail. So how it look like in your backend EM system, and what is where basically SAP Asset Manager help us to manage that process from the side. So typical process always start with the creation of the this new work order. So this work order can be created from your maintenance plan, or it can be created manually from the notification. So it's a new order type which we can define and configure into the backend, and then based on that order type, one can do the detailed planning, and at the time of release of the work order, your inspection checklist will be get generated. So this inspection checklist is nothing but inspection lot, which we typically use for quality management or your calibration process, but as having a different view over here to manage inspection of your assets, their health condition and their overall assessment. And then every inspection lot is subject to recording result, and then take appropriate decisions. And then if there are any abnormal conditions observed, we can take a follow-up actions or log a defect. So let's take a look into the system, how this look like into the system. Let's get started. So before understanding SAP Asset Manager capability, let's understand this inspection process in backend EM system first. So basically, your inspection process come with the new tab for the checklist. Okay, and then on top of that, your any work assignment can be performed at the individual resource at the work order header level or at the operation level, depending on your business requirement. Okay, so it might be performed by using HR module, or it can be also possible at the work center or by using the planner group as well. Okay, so let's understand this checklist tab now. So you can see number of inspection lot are created. So inspection lot is nothing but the inspection checklist created for the operation number 10 or 20. So there are separate inspection lot are created with reference to your equipment number. So in this business scenario, we have created two checklists. One is for mechanical and one is for electrical, depending on the operations category and overall setup required for performing this inspection under this work order. So let's understand into the SAP Asset Manager now, how this inspection look like. So I'm calling my SAP Asset Manager mobile screen here. Now let's understand this inspection process in detail. So I'm accessing this work order list view here. Okay. So now as a part of this process, either we can search any work order by typing a simple text over here, or we can use this side icon to call mobile camera and scan work order barcode if your backend EM system support the barcode functionality for the work order. So for time being, I'm opening one of the work order here. So this is a detailed view where we can see the operations. Let me take you into the detailed view of the operation, what is there. In the bottom section, again, we can see what are the notes available for this work order, which can be a detailed inspection to be performed under that operation of mechanical, or it can be a part, for example, where we can issue the material right from the site. Okay, and we can add the material as well. And we can also access the document or PRT, where your safety procedures or detailed instructions or sometimes your guidelines for performing a certain work can be updated against this work order. Now let's open one of the checklists here. Okay, so in the checklist section, I open the checklist. So under this mechanical checklist, basically we have a 3 inspection point. One is for inspect compressor temperature, then mechanical running inspection, and check the air leakage for the compressor. I will start my result recording from here. So as a part of my result recording, technician can now see the detailed procedure how to perform that particular inspection under this more information tab, where we can define the procedure for performing or the precautions to be taken while performing that inspection. So we can also upload the documents over here or maybe any drawings. And depending on the quantitative or qualitative measure, one can input the value and system will automatically validate the result. Similarly, for the compressor air leak, you can also access the detailed information such as the instruction for performing bubble test or visual inspection, what kind of precaution they need to take care, that they can access from here, and finally they can update their result. For example, if they rejected any of this outcome or inspection, here this record defect option automatically get activated, and here basically we can log a defect, which is nothing but a maintenance notification against that inspection. Okay, so for now I'm saying all good, and I'm continuing with my usage decision now. So immediately after result recording, my next screen is for the usage decision. The predefined codes are available, and once I selected it, I can save the changes. So till now, whatever the changes I have done with the quantitative or qualitative measures, those has been updated in my local mobile device. So once your technician have the internet connectivity from the central office or wherever they are in the site, they can sync this information to update all these changes back in your central EAM system. Yeah, so my latest sync is completed. All the update has been posted into the backend. Let's quickly see my work order. And you can now see my first inspection is completed with the status symbol, and second one is still pending. I can access the result record from here to validate it. Okay, so you can see the results are correctly recorded into the backend. So apart from your regular asset management S/4HANA 2021 inspection process, SAP also provide a checklist capability within asset strategy performance module offered by Intelligent Asset Management suite. So it's another cloud solution where your asset manager is capable to integrate with this ESPM product as a part of extension module. And if you have an additional license for ESPM component, then you can define this number of inspection or your checklist questions into the ASPM, and those checklist questions can be transferred to the SAP Asset Manager, and your technician can answer those from the site against this checklist. Okay, so again, just showing one more example here of the checklist. So we conducted or used this particular inspection checklist for validating the oil analysis. So we can define number of types of the or measures against we want to record the result, such as wear material, contaminant, or additive. And then under each section, we can define number of questions, and based on that, your final result will be get determined.
So before we continue, there's a question which I think we'll
Okay.
take. Is the ASP required to create/define the checklists?
Oh, you mean ASPM?
ASPM, yeah.
Yeah. So as I said, there are two type of checklists. Okay. So the ASPM checklist is quite extensive, where basically we can conduct the number of reliability assessment and everything, which is something and additional license required. But then the basic process, what we are talking about, the your regular inspection of your equipment, that can be conducted with the S/4HANA 2021 release. So your backend should be upgraded to the S/4HANA 2021, and then with the help of SAP Asset Manager, you can use that process. So even if you don't have a SAP Asset Manager, you can still run that inspection by using your S/4HANA application. But SAP Asset Manager come with that additional offline capability of mobile solution, where we can do that more effectively from the site.
So it's back with a follow-up question. So the functionality you showed us, you need to be on HANA.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Specifically the inspection one, which I'm talking about.
I mean, now that you've seen a lot about the solution itself, you know, kind of the next question is, you know, and we went through the same thing as, you know, how do you implement it? So based on the experience we've had, you know, implementing it, you know, we put together a bundle that would help people kind of, you know, follow this journey. And we're calling it our time to value solution for this. And for that, really, has three parts to that. The first of it is, you know, we bring a predefined content, you know, that we've seen based on the experience that is the first steps to get everything up and running, and immediately brings the value to it. It basically includes, you know, all the synchronization, the work orders, the execution, you know, the travel time requirements, et cetera, things like that, in order to, you know, get things up and running very quickly. It's your basics, you know, including capturing information for root causes, observations, et cetera. The second aspect of that is really, you know, is to bring in the predefined project plan. So we know what that path looks like. You know, we've done it, so we know it, in order to get all the documentation in place and very quickly get it, you know, up and effective for you. And then the third aspect of this thing is the core of it is to get everything up fairly quickly, so that as a user, can have it in their hand in a productive environment as quickly as possible to actually start getting the value from it. At that point, then we can start taking a look and see, are there areas that need to be tailored? Does it work well enough just simply out of the box, or are there specific functionalities that you would need that are specific to your business or to your industry? And really based on what we know of this right now, that's about a 12-week cycle on that.
Thank you. That is what we want to cover from our presentation perspective. Any questions or any feedback?
There's no questions in the chat, but you could now either just open up the mic and ask, or put them in the chat and I'll read it. So far, a silent crowd.
That could be good. That could be bad.
So that how advanced feedback is possible? Leak testing of valves, for example.
Advanced as in so basically we can definitely define the number of characteristics which we typically come from the inspection point of view. So we can define the number of parameters on which we want to define the or we want to get the answer for it. So those things we can define into the system, and this is something a one-time activity as a master data, and it will be get generated every time when we are generating that inspection.
So,
but of course, if you want, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Prasad, because there was actually coming in a follow-up on the same question. So he kind of added, apart from just the yes and no, ref the advanced feedback.
Yeah, whether you're talking about simple yes no, or whether you're talking about taking readings, or whether you're talking about a checklist that you'd be able validation list that you'd be able to choose from, for those, yes, those are all possible. So it's not just a yes or no. It could be readings.
Yeah, and then it's a completely different question. Can you say a few words about licensing cost for the asset manager?
The short answer is no. I mean, it's SAP. And every customer is going to have their interesting experience talking with their account exec about your licensing fees. I wish we could have more information to be able to pass on about that, but if you've learned anything, that there's a broad range.
So I guess the short answer is talk to your DX.
Talk to your account exec. Yeah. With it, they'll also be able to look at your bill of material that you've got, and make sure that there's a fit too.
Yeah, that's more. How do you recommend documenting inspection findings? Upload of pictures and other comments on each technical object?
So I can take that one. So it's remember, with all of this, it just common sense has to prevail. I mean, when you're talking about documenting, findings, is it more appropriate for you to just have simple validations? Do you need detail, readings? Are these readings even something you're going to get in the field, or is this something you need back from a lab? It really is on a case by case. So when you talk about the different technical objects in this, some of these may be very broad. I've seen where groups have built, say a turbine gen set, which has engine, gearbox, and the generator, but they chose to build their equipment as one unit instead of breaking it down into some of the logical components of that. So it really that kind of depends on what your makeup of your technical object structure is. Obviously, from the reliability side of this, more data is better, but then we also have to mix in the practicality of that data.
We still have time.
And the pictures, just to mention, yes, we can upload pictures. So that is something that having that platform. I mean, many years ago we pondered how would we get pictures in it. Now we carry the devices in our pockets, in order to load them. Did that answer it, or hope so?
Yeah, I think so. At least we can have follow-up. But there's one more. Can you have multiple assets, equipment in the inspection list so that you can give feedback to several assets, equipments with a few keystrokes? Or is inspection list only possible to link one equipment at a time? or one equipment slash asset?
I can take that one, David. So yeah, so definitely multiple asset is possible, and for every asset there will be a new inspection checklist will be generated. So again, SAP has given a feature over there where your normal inspection work order, even though your asset is not listed in your preventive plan or your maintenance plan, you can still go ahead and add your any ad hoc equipment in your object list of your work order, and then generate ad hoc basis inspection for that particular equipment. So short answer to your question, yeah, every equipment can have a different inspection, and we can add as many as equipment and generate the inspections against them. So this is very typically required when we have a compressor, for example, the example we shown, and we have a same kind of compressor following similar routine inspection, and those are available for performing those inspection. We can just add those number into the order and generate individual inspection for them.
Yeah, looks like Eric's happy with the answer.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So use the opportunity now. We will make the recording and the slides available, as I said in the start, and I'll also make your emails available so people can contact you directly. There's one more. How do you recommend storing findings? There is a wish to document each object with pictures to be able to see inspection result and also check last round findings.
Well, remember, these are being stored against a unique inspection lot. So, I mean, so if you're looking at to see the subsequent, lots, each one of those is a unique lot. Wondering if that answered it, or is that what he's looking for?
Asbjørn, do you have any? Did that make sense for you? So, and then of course that lot is then connected back to the equipment.
A follow up on the question.
Yeah.
Well, if you have yearly inspections, you do a physical inspection, you might take a picture just to see if there's a wear or tear. There might be no need to do any additional adjustments. You just want to check for the next year. And then when you do the next year inspection, you want to see what's the last result and what is the easiest way to find this. Because if you have to look back on the inspection lot, that's not very easy in the system. You have to find the technical object, the measuring point, or what is your recommendation? Trying to get an easier view for the technician out in the field.
Prasad, you got that?
Yeah, so these all inspections are carried out against the equipment. So I need to check into the system, but probably these are very specific to particular equipment. Unfortunately, I'm not very sure whether we can access that at the equipment level. In the ECC side, definitely we can access it onto the SAP Asset Manager side. But when we are talking about the historical data for maybe last 1 year or so, definitely Asset Manager would not come into the picture in that case. But yeah, in general, the concept is where for every equipment, whenever we do perform any inspection, that will be always available at the work order level, and it will be stored in your long test or attachments or whatever areas you are storing. So remember, again, those all attachments are always there into the system itself.
Yeah, and I like your question, and this is something that I'm pondering, that I'm going to follow up on is also where is it available? So is it in just the S4? Can we see it in something like AIN, the Asset Intelligence Network, where we have a kind of a master data view? It's an interesting question. Where else can we see it? So other than just the lot, the inspection lot. I like that one.
Yeah, because just a follow up, because when you do RCM analysis, you would like to see how is this going. You don't want to do maintenance unless really necessary. So just having the findings, you can do that afterwards as well. But when in the field, you just want to, you might have from 10 to maybe 100 different inspection things to follow up. So for one technical object, there might be 4 or 5 different things to check. It might be temperature, it might be corrosion, it might be a general because we use the inspection capability in the Fiori application today. But we want to have more functionality, and it hasn't been available for us. So we have had to develop this functionality.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, David.
Well, so I mean, so two things there. So the first of all, as far as analytically being able to look at that, part of that is registering with me is that why wouldn't this be accessible to something like SAC, for that for reporting capabilities in order to use it there. It's the pictures though that kind of intrigue me as far as being able to where can we access the images to do a year-on-year comparison of the images, because that's not something you would see in a typical kind of reporting tool.
Good. We actually do have more time if you have questions. We don't need to continue if I think you answered already quite a lot of questions. So, but use the opportunity. I think it's some good discussions going on here. Okay, it seems like you covered most of this, David and Prasad. So thank you for a very informative presentation. As said, we will make recording and slides available, and I'll inform attendees when that's available on the SPN web. I'll also make the emails for Prasad and David available if you want to follow up directly with them. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Sure. Thank you for the chance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, all.
Thank you for the great presentation.